Here in Season 2 with the St. Louis Cardinals, I think we're laying the foundation for a very bright future. Down at AAA, there are a lot of great storylines playing out. We had demoted two players who were on the opening day roster in Season 1, Victor Scott and Mason Wynn. They didn't look ready last year, so this season was about refining their skills, getting better offensively, and both players are off to really hot starts this season. Victor Scott especially, hitting over 300. Mason Wynn, meanwhile, has done much better against lefties. He's taken his overall up to a 71. Wynn had a lot of time at the majors last year, but never figured things out offensively. I think he should make his return to the majors here shortly. Tommy Edman has become the everyday shortstop at the bigs, and his offense has taken a big step back. I want to see if Wynn can be the shortstop of this team's future, and if his offense starts to make improvements, then he'll be a lot closer. When we see him again at the bigs this year, and he certainly will be up at some point, he'll have a chance to build upon the numbers he had last year. The defense is still the big calling card of his. He is a really high-level defender, and that's going to give him a very solid floor as a big league shortstop. Aurelvis Martinez could be the third baseman of the future. We traded a pitching prospect to acquire him during spring training. Martinez just needs to get more well-refined offensively, and that's happened this year. Hopefully, over the course of the season, he gets closer and closer to being a big league caliber hitter. I think the easiest way for him to carve out a role would be as a DH early on, with Nolan Arenado at third base until further notice. But Martinez still has a bit to go, and that's why he was not called up when Arenado landed on the injured list. It's just not time. You're always balancing two things in these series. You want to see your big league team do well, and then you want your young, high-potential players to get the best development possible, have the best chance at success. I've not been quick to call guys up, but one player I would like to get called up soon is Tink Hence, one of our best pitching prospects. He's been one of the most dominant starters in the entire minor league system, and I think he's ready for a major league look. It just comes down to finding that spot, and our pitching rotation has actually been very solid this year, so I'm not trying to break up something that is working. But if things begin to slow down or somebody really starts to put together a lot of poor starts, then it's going to be time for Tink Hence to make his debut. And I'm fairly certain his debut will be this year, likely at the very least a September call-up, given his option was already used for this year. But we have not made any big debuts in this series. The time is still not quite right to me. But Tink Hence, very close. He is lights out, able to strike out batters with every pitch in his arsenal. In this specific start, I don't think he was even dialed in until he allowed that first run and then shut down Louisville from there on out, going 7 innings, striking out 8, only allowing the 1. As the season and series continues, we'll continue to talk prospects, but let's return to the bigs. We just wrapped up the month of May, and it actually finished really strong. This looked like it was going to be our first month under 500, but winning 7 of our last 8 gave us a 15-14 month. Over this stretch, the pitching continues to be very surprisingly strong. Steven Matz now 9-1 with his latest 7-inning outing. And then one guy I've been a little bit concerned with is Ryan Helsley, but he's been able to take his numbers in the right direction. Just had a couple bad save outings, a couple ugly innings. Some crooked numbers are going to ruin ERAs here in May. But I think Helsley's going to be all right. And the Cardinals are back into first place. A lot of extra base hits here in this win against Cincinnati. We got things in a really good spot 60 games in. 102 left though. We got 2 corner infielders here we've been scouting that both supply a lot of power and could be early round picks. Here is Rico Saucedo. I want to have options in case, our best prospects are taken there at 15. You have to be prepared when you're picking beyond the top 10. And Saucedo mashes lefties quite well. And Cesar Coronado, he'll also mash lefties. I'm just intrigued that we can get some high power upside players. And I want to fully scout these guys because their potential ranges are so high. I just want the maximum clarity there. Not going to continue for Carvajal. I'm pretty confident that nothing's going to change drastically. And I already know he's not going to be a high-level hitter. Cardinals currently 3 games up on the Brewers, and for a team ranking update, the 5th highest batting average with the most runs now. No offense has scored more than the Cardinals offense led by Wilson Contreras, Jordan Walker, Brendan Donovan. This is awesome. 6th most home runs, never expected that. 2nd best on base percentage. Meanwhile, the ERA, 5th place still. On to the month of June now. We start with a win. Then we got Corbin Burnes versus Pablo Lopez. Helsley nails down a save. That gives him 16 on the season. And we sweep the Twins in a little 2-game set. We finish out this week 41-25. And back to the scouting board we go. Rico Saucedo is going to land 17th on the board. 76-91 potential. Then we got Cesar Coronado at 48th on our board, so I'm probably going to be done scouting him there. I don't know if he'll be there for our 2nd pick, but there's a chance. And then we got a late rounder, Mariano Garcia, who is now looking more like a low C shortstop. But I was intrigued because obviously, defense is paramount at short, and he has a very strong and accurate arm. He has solid speed, high plate vision, a contact-first guy. I don't know, the potential range doesn't look kind at all, but the skill set looks good. I'm not going to feel the need to get to 100% though on some of these late-round guys. I'm really looking for that on the earlier picks that I need to nail. And now one thing we haven't really looked at is pitching at all in this draft. And I don't know if I want to get a late start on some later round guys. I might do 1 week of discovery on it. And here are a couple more infielders that we'll look to get some info on. Freddie Ramirez, currently 88th on the board. I just like the well-rounded skill set there offensively. High vision, high power against lefties. And an older prospect who maybe could be a little bit further along to start out. We just won against the Yankees 14-10. This was an extra inning game. We had 5 in the 12th inning and 5 homers in this game. Lars Nootbaar with a pair of them. Joey Loperfido hits 1. This is an interesting high-scoring game. Carlos Rodon gives up 8. Yankees get back into it, still losing extras. That's an exhausting type of loss. 44-28 finishing out that week. That's still good for first place. Brewers on our heels. Pirates 8.5 back, looking like a 2-team race right now. Here's this week's scouting progress. We got Freddie Ramirez, 70-76 potential. More of a 4th or 5th round guy. And all of his skills are into the offense. So while his overall and potential might not be high, it's all batting, and that can still give a guy a chance. Rolando Santiago. Ooh, not much power there against righties. Might be a platoon infielder only. I don't know. It's hard to decide what to do with righties that don't hit righties all that well. And then we did discover 4 pitchers, so Discovery's not been very kind to us this year, but what do we got now? Jason McNeil, 31st on our board, not ranked in the MLB board. He does not seem to be much of a strikeout pitcher. He throws a mid-90s fastball, has a slider, curve, change, pretty standard pitching arsenal, but he does control the home runs pretty well. He has solid velo, and if he's 31st on the board, then obviously he's someone we should scout. I'm also going to scout a reliever this week. We have Lionel Shed, 102 on the board. He is a high strikeout lefty who throws pretty good heat. We also discovered another reliever, Rico Marte, 65th on the board. So we might have a little bit of pitching info here on a couple guys. We got to be close to getting Nolan back now, I would imagine. And he is about to come back. So he's off the injured list here in 3 days. And we've done pretty well. I mean, we didn't at first, and then we figured things out. Steven Matz just went 5 innings, did not get a win in this outing. Allowed 2 and struck out 3. That's 19 saves now for Ryan Helsley. Might be a good time for a little stat update. Where are our guys right now? Wilson Contreras, 16 home runs. Nolan Gorman with 15 and Jordan Walker, 13. 5 guys, though, with double digits. And every time I say, we might have to replace Tommy Edman here, he gets hot. I mean, he's got 10 homers right now, and this is a guy whose career high is 13. So these home runs have showed up out of nowhere, and most of them here in the last month of simulating. J.D. Davis has been cold, and I'm not sure this signing has worked out all that well. 219 average, 352 slugging. The extra base hits are why I wanted to bring him in, and he is hitting the occasional home run, but slugging is still way down, even by his standards. Brendan Donovan's still hitting .337, competing for a batting title with a .405 on base. And then I talked about not finding room right now for Tank Hentz, but there are a couple starters who have struggled. Miles Michaelis, the ERA and WHIP look fine, but he's not striking guys out, and he's allowing a fair amount of home runs. His FIP is not in a good place. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be starting for us. And then Kyle Gibson is having some of the same struggles, just maybe not as extreme, but his days as a starter too are winding down. And then the advanced numbers indicate that maybe Steven Matz is due for some regression. He's been kind of a Cy Young contender for a couple months, but the ERA is slipping down to 361, and his FIP is still even lower than that with the very low strikeout rate. I don't know how we're doing it here with these 4 and 5 K rates. It's ridiculous. And one thing, too, I wanted to point out, Michael Kopech is not playing well. And hasn't all year, but he's getting development out of this experiment. So I feel like I should keep it going. 10 innings. Yeah, I've definitely reduced his role to a minimum. Nolan Arenado is back as we just took care of a 3-game sweep of the Padres. And we're going to go back to what we had before with Arenado playing third and J.D. Davis still a better DH than Whit Merrifield is a second baseman right now. At least the offense is still better with J.D. But I kind of think this is becoming Contreras and Walker's offense. I might hit Nolan 5th and then 4th against lefties. Is Brendan Donovan for real? He's up to a 346. It's not supposed to get higher, but it is. And he's up to an 80 overall. Wilson Contreras currently 3rd in OPS, just a shade under 1,000. We will send Livan Soto back down to AAA. And then I wanted to check on one of our draft picks to see if Norris Sullivan is starting to correct some of that regression. So he wasn't getting positive development for whatever reason at AA, but it looks like we're slowly taking care of that now. Our top pitchers are getting a lot of really good development this year, and Dylan Lesko is the first to touch 70 overall. And he's done this despite not having the best numbers down at AAA this year. It's interesting how some guys develop, with elite production and some guys develop with mediocre production. Benny Matsumoto is already up to a 64 after starting out as a 61. Down at the AA level, he is doing a pretty good job overall, but a couple years away. And then Victor Scott continues to stand out with the +7 contact against lefties, just getting more and more refined to hopefully help us out at the bigs again. As we approach the end of June, we're sitting at a 49-32 record, and I'd like to do a start now with Corbin Burnes, see how our free agent edition is faring this year. Checking out the numbers, he's been one of our better pitchers. His K rate has bounced back this season. He's at a 3.66 FIP, a 1.7 pitching WAR, the best on the team. 3/4 of his starts have been quality starts, and he already has 3 complete games, 2 of those shutouts. And here we've got 2 teams with very close records and 2 starting pitchers that are having similarly strong years. Corbin Burnes and Dylan Cease. We'll see if we get ourselves a little pitcher's duel today. First up, Dylan Cease. 3.59 ERA, 98 strikeouts, and both pitchers have been moving teams lately. Burnes now here in St. Louis. Dylan Cease traded away from the White Sox. And here is the batting champion right now, Brendan Donovan. Speared at third base, and that'll drop the average a little bit. Here's our lineup today with Joey Loperfido in that 9 spot. And our 2-hitter, Lars Nootbaar, having a pretty good 10-day stretch. He has 12 homers, 42 RBIs. We're scoring a lot of runs, so someone has to drive those in. And Lars Nootbaar building upon last year's success. Ooh, that one seemed to float over the heart of the plate for a minute and then drifted down. Got me again with that changeup. Cease can kind of pitch here at 3 speeds. He's got the high 90s fastball, and then the changeup has already been an issue. Haven't seen his curve yet. 1, 2, and it's in there, strike 3. Yeah, this is not one of those guys where I'm probably going to have a good grasp of how to hit him for the first couple innings. I can handle that one, though. Deep to left field and over the head. It's extra bases for Jordan Walker on the elevated change. And that brings up Wilson Contreras. Will he stay one of our best hitters all year? 96 on the heater. That's by him. His slider's been pretty sharp the few times he's thrown it. And it's called strike 3. Corbin Burnes' turn. 22.3 strikeout rate. 17th start, and here is Fernando Tatis Jr. Based on a lot of the feedback I was seeing in the previous game with Burnes, I need to throw that cutter a lot more often. And it's grounded onto Jordan Walker, 1 down. Ha-Sung Kim, second baseman. Reached out for it on the outer part of the plate, and an easy play for Donovan. And then the shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. It is bounced to Tommy Edman, and it's a 1-2-3 first. And Nolan Arenado back off the injured list. Was doing a pretty good job before the foot fracture sidelined him for a couple months. And he hits one in the air to deep left center. It's got carry, but not nearly enough. And then we got Nolan Gorman, 17 homers and 55 RBIs, looking to set some career highs this season. He's in the 6th spot. A guy playing that well in the 6th spot means your offense has to be doing something right. 27 homers is his career high, so he's on pace to best that. The average is way up, and I never thought he'd really be much of a high average hitter. 59 contact against righties, but he's still showing he can ascend. 9th right now in the NL with a 924 OPS. Cease walks him on 4 pitches. And that brings up J.D. Davis. Up the middle, and oh, nice play. Kim to first, and that was nearly a double play. Do they have Kim playing short and Xander at second? All right, so they have flipped those two, and man, the velocity Kim had on this throw to second base. Here's full speed again. If that's clean, that probably is a double play. And now Tommy Edman hitting .230. Oh, he's got 20 stolen bases as well. I didn't realize that. We just have so many guys that are playing well, it's hard to, like, find opportunities for other players to get chances. We're winning games, we're in first place, so it's going to be business as usual until something is different. 3-1 to Tommy Edman. We'll take the fastball. I've been looking at that fastball a lot. Not this time, and it's hit softly into right field, and that's the top of the second, sorry. Brent Rooker's over here now. When did that happen? He's got that clean-up power. There we go, slider away. Oh, come on. Rooker draws the walk. Nearly hit Campusano. Hoping to see him ground into his 11th double play, and that's lucky. Fly ball center field, sending Loper Fido back, who will get the job in center today. And finally a lefty to throw some of these cutters inside to Jake Cronenworth. Count is even. And it misses low, so full count with 1 down. Jackson Merrill on deck. And Burnes misses low and has walked 2 in the second. Now the young Jackson Merrill with a chance. Arenado's going to tag. No, he missed. He dodged it, so we only get the 1. I didn't even realize they could dodge like that and that it would work. So Jurickson Profar has 2 in scoring position. Maybe next time I just throw it second base. Oh, come on, Corbin. 3-0. Joseph Ortiz on deck. Unable to find a strike until this one. Base hit left field. It's at least 1, and they'll try for 2. Offline, and the Padres get 2. All thanks to us not turning that double play. Burnes wasn't locating as well in that inning, so Padres on the board, and here is Joey Loper Fido hitting .284 coming off the bench. Down the middle, a strike. When he's gotten a chance this year, he's played well. He has a .349 on base. He's had close to 100 at-bats this season. I wanted to hold back on that one so bad. 3.6 WAR for Brendan Donovan. Man, I can't believe that's where we are. So many surprisingly great seasons have kind of changed the first 2 years of this series. Even in year 1, like, we didn't really struggle until the second half, but now this season, we're just taking off, looking like one of the best teams in baseball. So we'll see what that means for, like, playing games in the second half and late in the year. I got plans for how to do that content when the time comes. Donovan lifts one to center. But very few of these fly balls have been hit hard. We're just not getting anything close. It's a tight zone, and Burnes hasn't had the best overall command. Fly ball Loper Fido. makes the catch. They're fouling off everything, too, with 2 strikes. Tough to put these guys away. And Kim blasts one to left field. Towards the Western Metal Supply building, and it's gone. Yeah, you foul enough of those off, you give yourself a chance to get one that misses. Finally, a strikeout of Xander Bogaerts, and that is the first for Corbin Burnes. Brent Rooker, another guy who can punish a missed pitch, and Walker has trouble with it. Why did Burnes stop covering? He just stopped. That should not be a base hit. I'm tempted to say that should be an E1. I mean, Walker, we want him to make the play, but it's not an easy one. Corbin Burnes, though, dude, you're not having a good day. Walker makes that one, says, stay put, Corbin, I got this one. But it's 3-0 now after the Ha-Sung Kim solo shot. That's a hit into right field. Our second to the game. It's Wilson Contreras. I've wanted to be a little more patient here after Cease got off to a strong start, but he's not playing around. He's just throwing his fastball a lot. He's throwing it in the zone, too, daring us to do something with it. Perhaps I'm not being picky enough, though, of some of these pitches in the zone.
1-1.
Oh, man. I'm having a lot of trouble here with Dylan Cease. Not much offense here in the first 4 frames for our Cards, and just late on that one. Been so early on a bunch of those change-ups. Now we miss an opportunity. And the 1-2. Yeah, every time he leaves one up, I want to go after it, but it's an ugly day here at the plate. Fishing outside is Cronenworth as Burnes picks up his second K. 3-2 now to Jackson Merrill. Can't see Burnes making it much more than 5 innings today. Breaking ball left over the middle, and that's into center field. There's a strike looking to Jurickson Profar. 3rd strikeout, and that brings up Ortiz. And Gorman handles this one. That's a 0. But what are we going to do here against Dylan Cease? He's been cruising, only giving up 2 hits.
1-0.
Got a piece of it. I swear I wasn't getting that call. 2-2 from Dylan Cease. And now full as we try to get a man on here in the 5th. Just a piece of it as we work a count finally and make Cease throw a few more pitches. And eventually he misses inside. Come on, Joey, help us get something going here. 57 pitches for Dylan Cease. Off the plate. Loperfido coming up empty. We were way ahead of that one. Tommy's been our best stolen base threat, and maybe this is a chance for us to get an extra bag as Loperfido sends one foul. Tommy goes again. It is strike 3, and they got him. A strike him out, throw him out double play on a perfect throw from Campusano. There we go, reaching out of the zone, and Arenado just able to reach out and grab it, retiring Tatis. There we go, bottom edge of the zone. Much better slider than the one Kim saw earlier in the game. Burnes gets him on 3. Pitching to Xander Bogaerts, 2-2. He swings through a cutter. That's a 1-2-3 fifth, and maybe Burnes will get the 6th after all. But we got to get some offense going here. Only 62 pitches for Dylan Cease. As we go top 6, look at the slow changeup. Donovan got one elevated, but a little early. Out number 1. That is hammered to right field, and we're finally on the board. Lars Nootbaar with a big fly. And that came off the bat at 110. Finally a run off Dylan Cease. It's Nootbaar's 13th of the season. Just a fastball down the middle. And easily our best swing of the night. Walker tries to follow it up, but doesn't get all of it. For whatever reason, we just haven't squared up the fastball as well as you'd expect. I mean, it is a good pitcher, but usually we can punish those fastballs a little more often. In on the hands, a little late there. But at least we get the 1. And I will see if Burnes can go 6. We have a man getting up, but let's see if Burnes can give us that 6-inning outing. He faces the 4, 5, 6 batters. Brent Rooker looks at a strike. Into right, and Rooker will reach for the 2nd time. Or is it 3rd? Really wanted them to chase that changeup, but that pitch hasn't been as effective today. They've had pretty good discipline. Not biting a lot of what I'm trying here. How is he looking at all these? Got the count full now. We got to go back to the cutter. Way too high, and maybe I'm leaving Burnes in here for too long. Cronenworth's the batter. I should have gotten a lefty up. Might be a little late to work on that, but let's see if I do a little mound visit here. Hey, Corbin, how's it going? You seem a little off today. Why didn't you cover first that one time? Let's get Matt Moore in the game. We got back-to-back lefties here. All right, here comes Matt Moore, who's been one of our best relievers. 23 innings, a .78 ERA. No one really having success against him. There we go, a strike to Cronenworth. Nobody out. Good breaking ball, I guess. Not really, he missed it though. 0-2. That's slicing away from Donovan and lands foul. Donovan doesn't have great range there in left. 0-2. Got him! Strike 3. Now can we get Merrill? Might not be an easy guy to double up. And it's bounced. We're going to try. 1 there. That's all. So we've got to get it done now against Profar. And then it would be Ortiz on deck. And we're not finding the zone here. I'm okay walking him to get to Ortiz. And maybe now with a 3-0 count, we just say, take your base and let's move on. Joseph Ortiz. And that misses down. Big at-bat here as we try to get back in this game. Come on, Matt. And he misses down. It's 3-0 with Fernando on deck. Please throw a strike. There's 1. Off the plate, he's walked in a run. 4-1. And here's Tatis. Will make a second pitching change. And here comes Giovanni Gallegos. And this is a dangerous spot. Slider was risky there, but that's my favorite pitch here to throw right on right. He went after it. It's a 2-strike count now. Strike 3 on Tatis as the Padres leave him loaded, but do add 1. And we don't have much to celebrate about yet. Settle down. 7th inning now. Dylan Cease still in the game. 4-1 Padres. Nolan smashed to short. Didn't even make it halfway to first. 115 on the Batman. Come on. Now he's still very sharp. Fastball on the corner. Had a curveball. Just clipped the outer edge. 0-2 on Gorman. Upstairs. Gorman's under it. But that's well in play. 2 down. I swear he's getting every call, though. That's into right field, and J.D. Davis gets us a 7th inning hit. And we'll put in Christian Pache, who could be a base-stealing option for us here. 1-0, he goes. Edman up the middle, and we hit it right to him. Dude, this is so unlucky. And Bogarts goes down. He went around at strike 3. Gallegos looking pretty sharp. But can he retire? The unstoppable Brent Rooker. We got to be able to strike him out at least once, right? He's one of the highest strikeout hitters in the game. Well, that's a pop-up. Brent Rooker will end the inning. And we no longer have to face Dylan Cease, but only have 2 innings to erase a 3-run deficit. Joey Loperfido. Now wishing I had pinch ran Merrifield and left Pache to pinch hit for Loperfido. Joey to left field and drops it in left. And he might have 2. Hustling out a double. Just kidding, Joey. I wouldn't take you out of the game. That's ridiculous. Give me 1 back here. Let me have a 2-run game in the 9th at least. I'll feel good about that. Donovan flies to center. Coming in. No advance. Took a lot to not swing at that. Nootbaar, center field. And Loperfido will stay put. Now we get Jordan Walker, and we really need a 2-out hit here. Is it too much to ask for? Wow! Never check swing when I want to, that's for sure. Walker, strike 3. In comes Michael Kopech here in this 3-run game. Nice pitch on the outside. Kopech picks up the strikeout. Ahead now of Cronenworth. I want to see Kopech get some good innings here. He's developing a little bit. And strikes out Cronenworth. Wow. Kopech really dealing here in this outing. Jackson Merrill. A piece of it down 0-2. Past Arenado, and it will not be a 1-2-3 inning. And Merrill will hustle out a double. Come on, Kopech. Won't be a 1-2-3 inning. Still has been a lot sharper than I'm used to seeing him. And that is strike 3 swinging. So let's see if we can make some magic here in the 9th. Just got to get some base runners. Starting off, Wilson Contreras, one of our few we've had tonight. Yuki Matsui, my first time seeing him here in the show, is the closer for San Diego.
That pitch is out.
Matsui, 24 saves. That is good for 5th in the National League. Contreras hits it out to right. An easy play. We got Nolan Arenado, 2-1. That's inside. And now bounce foul. We got a 3-2 count. Lefty Gorman is on deck. Pache behind him. 3-2. In the air, center and driven deep. Heading back with a catch made. Not much batted ball luck for us in this game. Actually, the exact opposite. We had a 115 exit velo ground out. Nolan didn't even make that one close. Got a piece of that one, and now down to our last strike. 3-2 though. We're going to fight down to the last pitch here. I love playing sequences out like this. 3-2. We're not done. Now we are. It was a tough stay in San Diego for the Cardinals as we get swept, losing the final game 4-1. Great game for Dylan Cease. Felt like I could not get comfortable against him. Mixed his pitches in really well. Corbin Burnes not quite as sharp. He takes the loss. It's a 3-game losing streak, and I didn't realize we had a 4th game to play in San Diego. We lose that one as well. Just a rough series of offense, only 9 runs in those 4 games. I mean, I've been waiting for this offense to take a step back, and maybe this is the start of that. Michael King shuts us down the following day. So we go on the road to face the Reds, who haven't been great this season, and we get the offense back on track in that first game. And in game 2, we put 10 more on the board. And let's do our scouting one more time. This is week 13. Jason McNeil ends 51st on the board as a starting pitcher. Then we got reliever Rico Marte at 54. We don't have a lot of pitchers with information, but I'm intrigued with who is there. And then I did start scouting David Green, who could be an option there in the 2nd round. He had some really good, well above average projections, so trying to see where this stuff is going to land. Could still be a high C to low B outfielder, so I might finish this one up still. Not much time left to scout, so now we're going to focus on center fielder Jack Iverson and first baseman Billy Nash, 2 players with intriguing potential ranges, and we're looking for just more options in those later rounds. Maybe the Padre pitching was just too good because we put up almost 30 runs in the following series against the Reds. They had 3 errors in the finale. Sonny Gray went 5 innings against his old team. He walked 6, still ends up getting the victory. So we've concluded May in this episode, and now June. We went 15-11 this time, so every month has been above 500, and now just a couple weeks until the All-Star break. We are 52-34. That is a very impressive record. The Dodgers have 56 wins, but that's the only team better than us right now in the National League. Astros lead the AL West with 47 wins. Twins have 48 in the Central. The Rays and Orioles have 56 and 55 wins. Not bad if we're a top 4 team right now in baseball. We should have some All-Stars this year, and right now the Contreras brothers are 1st and 2nd at catcher. Nolan Gorman is in 1st place at second base. Brendan Donovan's also here as well in the top 10. Jordan Walker gets left field votes because that's the position he's listed at. I should probably just switch him to first base. But we might actually have some players to talk about this year in the All-Star game. We still have the best offense in baseball, 463 runs. The team ERA is slipping a bit down to 7th, but we're still far and away the most impressive team here in the Central. And this is going to do wonders for player development. You know, with this roster in Season 1, I wasn't really sure what to think about a lot of the existing players, because it didn't seem that guys like Donovan would be major difference makers. But then you have seasons like this, and even last year was a good one for Donovan. But now he looks like a player who could stick around for a while in the franchise. And we'll see how long Tommy Edman is able to hold on to a role. He's been much better in today's episode, essentially. But I'm still thinking as we approach the second half of the year, it's going to be about time to introduce some new pitchers into the rotation. I think we're going to continue regressing there with our veterans. I just don't see any other way. But then, we're going to have guys ready to replace them. Dylan Lesko just struggled. Let's check on his situation here, a 5.46 ERA. Kind of tempted to get him some starts at AA to get that corrected. But Tink Hence, his time is coming. Let's send Lesko down to AA. And I want to call up our first draft pick, Steve Castilla, to AAA. He's up to his 70, pitching really well. Let's just get a couple starts at least to see how he handles AAA competition. So looks like next episode we're going to have our second draft of the series. We'll get to the All-Star break and see where the team is at that point and make our plans for the rest of the season. It's been a pretty exciting year, and we'll see what's to come. Thank you all for watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like if you did, and subscribe to the channel. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Love getting your thoughts on everything here in the series. I'll be back with more of the Cardinals soon here in Season 2. Have a great day.